It's a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the nation's capital, and we are live here on your authoritative choices, Voice of Nigeria, where we bring you one sports update. It's always about the very best, biggest talking stories in the world of sport from the week before into the week to come. And on this great edition of One Sports Update, we are going to be taking a trip to Rabat, Morocco to be able to look at the Super Falcons breaking into Group B right there as they are chasing a dozen. We are also going to be taking a trip straight to the United States of America where the FIFA Club World Cup gets into the very final game. Chelsea to take on PSG. What would it be? All of this wrapped up right in this great edition of Von Sports Update. I am your humble uncle, Sean Pablo. Don't go away. I'll be right back. It's welcome back to you, the nation's capital, the authoritative choice, and right here on Von Sports Update, massively, what a way to get into the break and be able to talk about the Super Falcons opening game, and they were able to do it big to take the summit of Group B, defeating Tunisia by 3-0. It could have ended up 5-0, maybe 6-0, maybe even 4 without that goal being disallowed for Ashley Prompton. But ladies and gentlemen, I would not be doing this alone. To join me on the conversation, help me welcome Maxino Zeno Dixon.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, and of course, so much to talk about in the world of football and athletics, Super Falcons, FIFA Club World Cup. It's a loaded package, no doubt.
Well, no doubt about it. Let's just get straight down into the conversation and let's be able to talk about the Super Falcons with a very comfortable, commanding, and controlling start into the chase for a dozen. It's 11-time champions we're talking about in 15th edition, and the Super Falcons could have started any better. I mean, look at the way they had to take that game against Tunisia, scoring 2 goals already in the very first half, and then had one cancelled in the same half before they finally finished very, very commandingly with Ihezuo with a perfect strike. Let's look at that match against Tunisia. Let's look at the saves from Chemaka Nadozie, who has just transferred from Paris FC to Brighton and Hove Albion to be able to play in the Women's Super League in England. And let's also look at Asisat Oshoala scoring the very first goal at Babola, the 6th-time African Footballer of the Year. Let's also come back and look at what it meant for the Super Falcons to have gelled and also having a clean sheet in that particular fixture. What is all of this saying about them becoming the favorite to winning this tournament?
They're ready. They are simply ready, and of course, from the matches that were played before they took on the Tunisians, they took on Ghana, they took on Cameroon, they took on Portugal. They had showed complete readiness and preparedness. And Coach Madugu has found the right mix, and we saw that against the Tunisians. The scoreline should have been more, but I mean, what our takeaway is, it was a good performance, dominating performance from the Super Falcons. So we're waiting for Botswana and Algeria, and of course, the big cup itself.
Well, okay, let's be able to look at that match particularly. Let's look at that 45 plus 3 minute disallowed goal from Ashley Prompton. Of course, that goal, if you take a look at it with a replay, you'd see that even in the commentary box, it was ascertained that, I mean, it should have stood.
The goal should have stood.
You know, was there enough contact? I mean, is there a big or is there a real legal ground to say that should have been a disallowed goal?
Well, it depends. You know, some referees would have actually given it as a goal. Some would say, okay, I mean, that the contact was a soft one. It wasn't really like an impeding move. However, some other referees would look at it and say, okay, there was some form of contact, so call back play. But you know, I'm not too bothered because the truth is, when you look at the officiating in African competitions since the VAR took over, you have to give it to the African referees.
Absolutely.
They've been spot on. At least they've been far better than what we see in the
used to be.
EPL. Far better. I mean, dodgy calls that we see in the English Premier League week in, week out. We hardly see it in CAF dominated competition. So if that's just a blip, it's all right because it's just at the discretion of the referee. So if VAR called it and like take a look a second time, was it really a goal? I mean, was it legitimate? Was there a contact or not? I mean, it's all left. For me, I'm not really bothered. What is most important for me is this team has gelled. The defense looks compact. The midfield is in tandem. We just want to see more goals, especially when we now come up against teams like Bayana, the Lionesses of Senegal, and the host Morocco. I mean, and of course the rampaging Zambians. So a lot of work is cut out, but so far so good. We look forward to beating the Botswanas, who have said, okay, they will take it as it counts, but we will beat them. Be rest assured of that.
Well, let's be able to look at the very, very strong character between the stakes of the current African Golden Glove winner. Talk about the back-to-back Golden Glove winner, Chemaka Nnadozie, who was in that match. She it was almost like she went for recess in the first half.
But holidays.
Yeah, but then in the second half she got a little bit more involved with the Tunisians coming at her. But it was absolutely class act from the lady who just moved from Paris FC to Brighton Hove and Hove Albion. But what does this mean for Chemaka Nnadozie, especially coming into the Women's Super League right now in England and also being between the sticks for the Falcons as they are chasing the Dustin?
She's been the best goalkeeper in Africa now. I mean, without a question, with FC Paris, she has shown fantastic reflexes, commanding her line, leading from the back, and giving confidence to the defense and the attack to go forward. Now she's going to a faster, more competitive league, the English female league. You call it the
Women's Super League.
Women's Super League. So definitely the stakes should be higher because most of the best players in female football, they ply their trade in England.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see more of her games, and I know definitely this African Women's Champion is just like, it's a normal thing for her. She's been here before, so there's nothing really so much to worry about. But like I said, it's when it gets to the knockout stages, when you meet those teams, when you come face to face with Banda and the gang, and of course the Senegalese, the Malians, then you might begin to wonder and worry that, okay, let's see how it goes. But for me, I am confident. And you had an interview with her, right?
Of course. Of course, talk about the interview we had with Chemaka Nnadozie. I mean, anytime I see her, wherever I see her, I see the safety of Africa's future just in her hands as the African #1 wife material. Took a minute with us and she shared, telling us what it means to give 100% to Paris FC. But now she is with Brighton and Hove Albion to play in the Women's Super League. We wish her very best of luck, even as she moved from France to England. Away from that, let's quickly move into that game and look at the talking point, especially for the very first goal of that match, the opening goal. It could have been any better with confidence coming through from the team, seeing the 6th-time African Footballer of the Year, Asisat Agbabola Oshoala, scoring in the way she did. It was about the concentration from that cross. It's about the way she was able to put herself in the mix and able to make sure that she had the last hit and she had it go past goalkeeper and when we scored that goal. I mean, what does this make for the confidence of Asisat Oshoala and the rest of the forwards for the Super Falcons?
You know, for some time, Asisat has been kind of quiet for the Falcons on the international stage. Apart from maybe friendly matches at the Olympic Games, she was kind of caged. Maybe it's because of the kind of tactics the then coach used. So she was kind of alone. However, you know, we had expressed worries before that. Can she really thrive again in the African game? Because there was this feeling that, okay, it seems like she would do better outside Africa because the African football terrain has become more rugged. I'm talking about the women. However, it looks like now that Coach Madugu is leading this charge for the Falcons, he has found a mix that brings the best out of her, and so she has that freedom. You know, sometimes I feel like Asisat is the female version of Osimhen. She's a hustler, she's strong, although age is not exactly on her side, but the years of experience is why you saw that goal, the positioning, the run, the header. I mean, that's a classic poacher's goal. So it shows that she is getting back to herself when it comes to the African game, and I think for other matches, she will come up good against the Botswanas because the Botswanas are not very tall. So she will have an advantage early.
In the air.
Yes, so when balls come in, you will see her really going for it. And of course, even in terms of creating spaces to score, she will do that. So it's a good one for her with our captain Ajibade there, Plumtree, and all the team members playing with that kind of concentration. I think the Falcons want to make a statement. They really want to win this one. It's very obvious that they are not there to make up the numbers or like, okay, no, they want to dominate. So if they carry that domineering character like they showed against the Tunisians, I don't see anybody really standing against.
It is a battle of the blue. But before we get to let you go on this conversation, you're going to have to make a prediction for us.
I just did. Again.
He has to tell us so that we know.
But he's trying to force me. I don't want to be called a false prophet, right? But, like I said, it's going to be... See, Sean, trust me, these teams are both young. And anything can happen. But if you talk of age, I think Paris Saint-Germain has a slight edge. Remember, Chelsea has actually won the FIFA Club Championship before.
Yeah, 2021.
Exactly. Now, Paris Saint-Germain, they've not only won the Champions League for the first time, they are now in the final, and this is an expanded version. Who wouldn't want to win? So, I mean, they will want to do everything. And Luis Enrique, what I like about him is that he has kept that team grounded. They are not arrogant. They are not puffed up. There is no big star. There is no Ibrahimovic with ego. Everybody is humble and ready to play.
There's no Kylian Mbappe who has about 75% control of the team.
I mean, he doesn't. Everybody puts in a shift. Look. That Bayern Munich game, trust me, if it was any other match, because Bayern Munich, they actually played ball that day. They really came out. Even Harry Kane, we saw him going to assist defense. Look at that wonderful clearance. But, you know, Paris Saint-Germain just dug deep, and they have ballers. They have real ballers. I mean, look at the winger, the Georgian winger. Look at that guy. Look at Neves. Kvaratskhelia. I keep missing that name. Kvaratskhelia. Okay, I got to this. Now, look at Neves. Look at Mendes. Look at Fabio Ruiz. Busting from the middle. I mean, he has been quiet in this whole tournament, but look at what he did against Real Madrid. He messed them up. For me, that was the man of the match. He completely bought the midfield, put it in his back pocket with change, and still went forward to add 1 or 2 goals. I mean, it was humiliating. So Chelsea have a strong midfield. They have enough personnel, so they can mingle and plot. It can work. The only thing now is, will Pedro come out tops again?
In the next match?
What happens to Jackson? Will he be on the bench? Delap, will he lead the line? It's going to be very interesting. But you see, it sets the standard and the stage for what is going to be an explosive European season. It's just barely a few weeks to play from now. The Premier League will start in August. The Champions League will start as well. So definitely for Chelsea, they have it all going for. But Paris Saint-Germain, like I said, wanting to have history on their side, they have the slight advantage. But if Chelsea wins, I will not be surprised because they are also a very good team. They are evenly matched.
Well, Maximo Dixon is very, very cautious, and that is the word caution in every final. But caution here, you can actually throw it to the wind. Just let us know who you believe is going to be the champion of the world at the FIFA Club World Cup. Is it going to be Chelsea or is it going to be Paris Saint-Germain? Which blue is going to shine the brightest in the sky? Let us know right now on the comment section and make sure you get a join in on all of our social media platforms. Do it right there on our Instagram, on our X, on our TikTok, on our YouTube, and of course also on our stories on the website.